No,
not really talking about Star Wars.
No, we're not really talking about Star Wars. I do have the original 3 with the green, blue, and purple reissue
The original
boxes.
cut?
No, my father-in-law actually has those in his basement.
Yeah,
from like the 80s.
Well, no. They have an original cut of those on DVD released once.
No, mine are in VHS.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
On DVD, they released them in the original cut once, and if you want them, like you have to go on eBay, and they're like $400.
I don't know if those are the ones that I have or not. I guarantee you mine are from before the
Special editions.
No, they're before whenever like episode 1 came out.
Right.
So they're mid-90s.
Okay.
So I don't know.
These were the first re-release to theaters.
So I remember going to those because I
Yes.
never saw Star Wars in the theater.
Right.
And so Kevin and I went to all of those. And I can't remember if the VHS set was before then or after that. So I guarantee you it's the one where like Cloud City isn't all pink and shit. It's actually like blue. So those are the ones that I have.
Yeah.
So it's before they did all the fucking screen effects. There's
Okay,
absolutely no like stepping on Jabba's tail.
There's none of that. No.
There's none of that. There's no rah thing. So I don't know though if that's the pre-release or the.
No, that's it. Okay, so yeah, you do have. It's just weird. There's like a couple of different editions.
Yeah.
Right, where there's still like the original. Okay, let me ask you this. In Empire, when the Emperor shows up, is it the original weird-looking Emperor or the one where they put McDermott back?
No. It's the weird one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So those are those.
Yeah,
those
and it's bring my shuttle. You know.
Yeah.
Tell my Star Destroyer to prepare for my arrival. So anyway, I'm Pat.
I'm Will.
Jeffrey.
This is Coffee Before Bed, and we're not going to talk about Star Wars.
This can all be summed up with Bring My Shuttle, and
Bring My Shuttle.
and it's got the original Boba Fett guy.
I didn't know that there was a different one.
Well, if you listen to him, the first one sounds like crumbly, like just really.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
They're in a box somewhere, so.
I was wondering if you I think those have some value.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saved it. I mean, I spun the hell out of them, so it's not like they're still in cellophane, but
No, but
yeah, it sounds like I might have those, but no, my father-in-law's actually got the original ones from like the 80s in the white boxes with the actual movie poster.
I've seen those. Yeah,
he's got those.
Yeah,
he's got all the Indiana Joneses from back then too and stuff.
Well, let me ask you. Okay, so there was a technique to opening VHSs back in the day.
I don't remember.
Hold on. Okay. So I'm not talking about like those Disney clamshell.
Oh yeah.
And those things can fuck right off.
You mean just the sleeve?
No, well, yeah, because you had the ones with the
vertical
sleeve,
right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Well, they came in two different times.
Yeah,
There's the bottom,
top,
or like there's a cigarette pack. And then there was the folio, yeah.
Cigarette pack. Which one was the cigarette
Where
pack?
it just flipped out of the bottom. So the hole was in the bottom of the...
Okay, so what was the folio?
The one on the side that had the little triangle cut out it, so you're supposed to pull it out like this. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So especially the Maxell, like the blank tapes you would buy were all like
Yeah, Maxwell or Fuji or...
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So I guess if you were an animal like me, you took your VHS and you just ripped the cellophane off and took the tape out. But I guess the elegant way to do that...
Stick a knife through the edge there.
Okay, you evidently you know.
That's how I would... That's how
all of your VHSs still had the plastic...
No. I peeled it off afterwards, but that's how I...
Well, so the really elegant way was to go to the bottom with like a blade or an X-Acto knife, right? Basically cut the bottom rectangle
out.
And so it would still be in the cellophane and not damage it.
Oh, Lord, I don't know anybody who did that.
I did.
Did you?
Yes.
Nerd. So...
I saw on Pawn Stars that he had a mint condition still in the box, Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
I saw that one. Yeah.
You remember how much it was going for?
I know how much he got for it. Well,
he didn't sell.
He didn't sell it.
He wanted $100,000.
Yeah,
$100,000,
and it was valued at 65 to 70.
Holy fuck!
I was like, good God,
the white man's lottery, man.
Freaking Nintendo game. He worked at like Target or something like that, so it didn't sell at the time. So he got to take it home, and he just
threw it on the shelf. Huh?
Yeah.
I saw I think it was a Kotaku article the other day about this guy who had actually.
That fucking rag.
I know. So, but they still do interesting articles every now and then. They had this guy who actually bought a couple packs of the original 1950s Nintendo playing cards.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
right.
And so he bought 2 of them. They were quite expensive. And he was like, and they're still wrapped and everything, and they're not wrapped in cellophane; they're wrapped in paper. Okay.
Yeah.
So because they're that ancient, and he's like, I don't know if I'm gonna open one. So I actually went to his YouTube and watched it, where he actually opens one, and it's fucking heartbreaking. So
it's junk.
Well, yeah, okay, because the cards from the 1950s is before they laminated cards, and so all the ink, it turns into glue after a while, and so he's got this block.
Oh man,
yeah. He was like, well, I can see the one on the bottom.
It's like now that they see what happens to it, is it like?
Oh, I'm sure the other price.
Now they're all just gone, so you have no card.
Well, and that's what this guy was saying. He said he's been waiting for years for something like this to come up on eBay. You can't find them in shows and things like that because they weren't built to last. And so if you find some,
wow.
it's a really big fucking deal. So, but then, he was kind of like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, no. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's rough. I mean, like, we went through this a little bit, but unfortunately these things didn't appreciate in value just because of the sheer number of these, right? Well, so Topps would famously destroy one of the cards in the pack with the gum, right? So whatever pigeon oil they used to make that gum.
Do you wring that out?
It looks like a pizza box.
Or do you just like strain it, Yeah.
It becomes where you get to see through it.
It's disgusting.
Well, the weird thing is I'm absolutely certain that little pink strip that came with it wasn't supposed to be diamond hard when you got it, right? But
are you talking about the gum?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
And what would happen there is this is osmosis. Okay, when you take something with higher moisture and lower moisture and put them across a semi-permeable membrane, the moisture comes out of gum, goes into one of those cards. It would fuck it up every time. Whichever one was on the bottom, right, had a big gum stain on it.
Yeah,
right?
I vaguely remember that.
I opened like 2 packs where the gum was still soft.
Yeah.
Okay, but it didn't destroy enough Topps cards to the point where they actually became valuable.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No, none of those did. So, I think I've got a Mark McGwire rookie card.
What is that going for now?
I'd have to go look, man. It's got to be from like 88 or something like that. So he's skinny.
Yeah,
and he plays for the A's, so it's weird.
I've got Rice and Marino, Elway, all those.
Yeah, are they worth anything?
I haven't looked them up in ages.
Well, the weird thing now is, yes, you could go find like a Street and Smiths or a Beckett, but the only way to tell what it's worth is to go straight to eBay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and you just sense. Do a little aggregate of
what they're saying.
Selling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's fair.
That makes sense. So those are actual transactions. So
it's the going price, and it's a global market. So
yeah, that's true.
Well, even the first paragraph of every Beckett magazine was
it's whatever you
this
get.
Is a guide. It's worth exactly what you can get for it.
Yeah, that's the disclaimer. So, But still, give us $15 for our book, please.
God, I did that all the
Oh,
time.
no, you used to buy them every year, man. So,
Well,
I got it every month.
yeah, I think
holy shit,
you got a subscription.
nerd.
I think you actually got the rare Beckett
I
subscription.
think I might have, yeah.
Yeah.
I still have a whole box load of unopened packs.
Cool.
That'll
be a fun Christmas.
Ton of them in that closet.
You got unopened packs up there too?
Yes, as
Oh
well
my
as
God.
like sets.
Okay. Well, there's the rest.
It's fine. Look, the storage I'm holding on to you is nothing compared to the dragon's hoard of shit that I'm holding on to for our mother.
Oh yeah.
Yes, because it is so. I don't know if it's weird or not for a Korean to be playing the white trash stock market.
No, it sounds pretty normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Haggle, all that
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
I got this as a bargain. This can be worth a fortune someday. Put your kids through college,
Right.
Right.
Right. Second generation. Yes,
Correct.
I get it.
Yeah.
And we've come to this. She comes from a peasant culture.
Right.
I understand this. Yes. Yeah.
God, it's so different than the Korean students I have today. So,
they don't care.
no.
Nah.
How
They're,
could-
they're like one tick away from being full-blown Americans. In fact, they like their music more.
The K-pop stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny. I'm actually transcribing a Korean drama right now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You seen, what is it, Hunger Games 2? No, not Hunger Games.
Was it the one I watched?
The fuck was that show?
Oh, the Squid Game?
The Squid Game.
Oh,
Thank you.
No,
Yeah.
no, that's this is a show. This is a show that's like going on right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because this is actually like it's called Train.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, no, my brother's been watching that.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because it's only like 5 episodes in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was telling me about it just last week.
With the like sliding door
I don't know.
idea. Yeah.
So I have no idea, but he said it was really cool and I should check it out on the pirate server that we have access to.
The one is it's supposed to be on.
I
No idea.
couldn't tell you. So
Well, I can't tell you.
I've got lots of stuff, so it's got to be on something that I have. Because I'm missing hearing the Korean stuff after I watched the whole season of that one.
Is that over?
Yeah.
Squid Game.
No, it's well, I watched that too, but Extraordinary Attorney Woo.
Oh no,
I love that title. I absolutely love that title.
Yeah,
She's got autism as a lawyer,
that sounds horrifying.
and so like she has like all the law. Like it's like to me, it's like House and Law. Only everything's bright and sunny.
Oh well, that's nice. So,
Like the finale, like
yeah,
was so bright and like it seriously thought cartoons were gonna dance
see, that's
on the
fucking
screen
cool,
coming
yeah.
up, and I was like, they show her in the subway. I'm like, they're gonna shoot her. Like, something's gonna happen, and she just cheerfully goes to work, and I'm like,
Wait, what?
no, wait, no, there's a catch. Where's the
Yeah,
catch?
so-
There's no catch. What's going on here?
Okay, this is what's always weird about that too is, again, coming from this culture, right? What you have to remember is, like, from their perspective, they're like, oh, it's another one of these,
Right, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Whereas if you delve into, like, shit, I think you guys were right in the middle of this when Japanese and Korean horror really started breaking into the market. So,
Like The Ring and Grudge.
Yeah, I remember The Ring.
and Audition and
Never saw Audition.
Yeah, that one's bad.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Ooh.
body horror.
It's good.
Mhm.
It's it's famous for a reason. There's like, you really get the sense this movie's going this way until the bag moves. And then you're like, what the fuck is going on? What is this movie? I thought it was brilliant.
Oh.
But there's a part of it where you look, there's a big half of this where the entire setup, and I may be ruining the series, like the setup is almost getting you to think like, I see what this movie's trying to say. I'm curious how they'll resolve it. But I'm also a little bit bored.
Wait a minute, which movie are you talking about?
This is Audition.
Okay, I thought I thought you switched back to your series there. No.
Oh, no. This
Okay.
is
So the series is called Train.
Yeah.
Train.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna put that in because I want to probably watch that. But yeah, continue.
I have no idea what service is on. I just know that I am doing the subtitling for it.
Okay.
But it is interesting. It's based on this like sort of horror premise, kind of what do they call it? It's kind of, what is that quantum universe theory where every decision can go one of two ways and it creates its own universe.
I have no idea.
I can't remember.
I don't know.
I think that's called like the infinite universe theory, where
There's a couple of those from what Dude, every time I watch an astrophysicist, I learn about a new fucking theory. So, it's because they just made one up.
what's the new one?
I have no idea. I stopped watching that about 2
okay.
years ago. Because
Where
none of
were
them
you
agree
watching?
with each other.
Where were you
They
watching?
show up on Rogan all the time.
Oh.
So, yeah. So,
Well, okay, yeah. So there's one that keeps popping in and out, and every time I try to give it any kind of credence, I realize how absolutely stupid it is. Is the we're living in a simulation theory?
yeah,
How many times has that one crossed your
a
path?
lot. A lot. Well, I mean, Elon Musk tweeted whatever about that like 4 or 5 years ago, and then it kind of blew up on what used to be called the intellectual dark web, which doesn't exist anymore. Which is good. So, but anyway, and then yeah, there were several people who focused on that one, particularly in AI space.
Yeah.
And then, so, like, I think it was about a year or two ago, I found this guy who's, like, kind of my go-to guy on AI.
Oh, okay.
And he says it's all bullshit.
Of course it's bullshit.
Yeah, he says it's all just fucking math. It's like, if you're smart enough, you can do the math, and you can figure out what the machine's going to do. You know, so there's nothing sentient here or anything like that. And so the idea that we actually live in a simulation is ridiculous. So, he's like, it's convenient. So you would like that, all right? So because maybe we can upload your brain and you become immortal, haha. And there's a lot of people who are trying to do that.
And there's
Okay.
a possibility that that may happen in the future, but not right now.
Well, yeah, but it's also based upon an underlying assumption that we know more about consciousness than what we do. And so that's one of your two great mysteries out there is number one, how did it all start? Nobody knows. All right, and number two, what does it actually mean to be sentient? Nobody knows that either. So there are no answers to either one of those questions. So,
Only loosely. Yeah.
you're putting saran wrap over your own particular bowl, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, so yeah, you're absolutely right about that. But there's also every one of those things you have to basically like push certain things to push certain things out.
Right.
Because you're like, all right, well, it's this, and this, right? Then a person could say like, yeah, but fire does all those things too.
Right.
Like, yeah, but obviously not that.
Right.
Okay, well then let's take this out. I remember this fight. Okay, yeah. This was a fight we used to have in high school with the cheerleaders where we'd say, like, cheerleading is not a sport.
Yes, this is exactly like astrophysics. I mean, exactly.
Because the problem with this was, well, the only reason I say this is, I know this sounds reductionist, and it absolutely is, but the problem was, we ended up by trying to exclude cheerleading, we ended up excluding like 50% of what we call sports.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, by establishing criteria by which you actually establish this is a sport, it eliminates immediately like golf.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, or swimming or all kinds of different
I only
things.
had 4 sports by the official rules of William.
Well, yeah, but they're just in rank order of the ones you like, right?
Well, they have to be the four that were on national TV at the time.
Yeah.
The rest of it, the Olympics became a sport every 4 years.
Every 4 years.
The rest of the time, they weren't sports.
Shit, that's a perspective I hadn't even thought of. It's like not a sport until
The world cares enough to make it an official sport for
fascinating
the summer.
right?
And
Yeah.
then it's gone.
Yeah, and this was we would be that was where we would go rounds, is because we were just like picking on some cheerleader friends of ours, but that's where like we'd get guys where it was we'd spend the rest of the afternoon trying to include or exclude racing.
Well, and that's all dependent on how much you like it.
Well, we tried to be objective for the sheer purpose of kicking out cheerleading.
Yeah. That's not exactly being objective.
That's how you go in life.
I think that's the opposite of that, Jeff. If you have the destination in mind before you get there, it's not objective.
Well, I mean, yeah, that was where the knots came in. Our first rule was like, well, you don't play. This is cheerleading. It's like, yeah, it's like you don't play with a ball or a puck.
Right.
It's not a sport.
Yeah.
goes
By
racing.
sport, by swimming. Yeah.
Well, and so yeah, that was the immediate thing. Was it wasn't just swimming. It was like,
cricket.
so you're gonna tell me that a boxer's not an athlete?
Right. Yeah. So.
It's like
That-
to his
You
face.
can be an
His face.
athlete, but it's not a
How
sport.
about Greco-Roman wrestling? So.
Again, that was the same thing where it's like, well, you have to be in shape to do it, right? And we're like, well, what about golfers? Golfers can be like pudgy as shit, right?
Well, yeah. Some of them smoke cigarettes and ride around in little carts
During the
So,
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing. It's like, well, sumo wrestling is clearly a sport, and fucking offensive linemen are pudgy, but they do way more than. Like,
Yeah.
I would argue those guys burn more calories per outing than any other actual sport, just based on physics.
That's why people have to care about it. By people, I meant Americans.
That is, yeah,
So
that's
people in
Soccer
non-America
was
do
not
count.
a sport.
Yeah, soccer was not a sport.
yeah.
Despite the world loving it, not a sport.
We always, everybody had like one soccer player friend in high school.
Oh
that
yeah,
would-
yeah.
I mean, that's really
Constantly
funny that you would
advocating-
include a puck.
Yeah,
You'd
of
say
course.
a puck and a ball,
Yeah.
and of course, because you got one people in that group, so
Well-
it's like, well, yeah, we got to make the criteria ball or puck.
No, actually, the reason that came out was because that meant that roller hockey was a sport and ice hockey wasn't.
How offensive! I
Oh,
know.
Because
Oh
you
my
play
god.
that one with a ball.
Yeah,
So this hockey's out.
yeah,
The one that everybody likes.
yeah,
Interesting point.
Yeah,
yeah.
because then you take everything that's from basically the soccer, basketball, hockey family, right? Where it's two teams, essentially like 5-on-5 or
Right.
11,
Yeah.
and it's like advance it this far, put it through goal, protected,
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess I think the point behind the
Lacrosse.
exercise was still to actually identify sports that you thought were cool. So at the detriment of ones that you did not think were cool.
Yep.
Well,
Correct.
no, it was just
Mine
to
was.
get out cheerleading.
Right. Okay. I think you just. That's what I kind of said.
No, it was the whole thing was to try to find a way where it was inclusive to everything else except cheerleading.
Yeah. So. Yeah, you just say cheerleading sucks instead, and you're good.
I mean,
We wanted to
Yeah, you're trying to actually
prove-
try and find like so same things, like trying to prove that we all fucking live in a simulation. So-
yeah, and like for a while there, we had a solid thing where we're like, well, okay, here's the problem: it's a judged event.
Sure.
Right? The criteria for sport there was, this has to be a physical activity.
Yeah.
Okay, and the way to defeat the opponent must be clearly defined, right? Where you can objectively look at how you score points.
Yeah, but baseball doesn't fit there because your strike zone is a judged event.
Well, and that was the same thing is if you don't knock out another boxer.
Right. Yep, it's a judged event. You're right.
And
Olympics.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
like
well-
gymnastics. Yeah.
and I was going to sit there and say like, well, those girls over there that just did like 40 flips off of a 4-foot beam,
Right.
I'm going to call them not athletes.
Right. Well, no, you're going to call that not a sport.
Right.
So
You can be an athlete that just doesn't play a sport.
Do you see what's happening? Okay, remember, you made fun of me a second ago.
I am
You're
making
like,
fun of you still.
Well, I know you are.
Dude, I'm on full troll mode right now.
No, that's absolutely fine. But the thing is, right now, this right here is how these discussions kept going around.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, this is stupid. Just admit it. It's like it's a sport if you want it to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then
It
now
actually-
it goes to video games, and whether that's sport or not.
Fascinating. Well, the designation esports is supposed to solve all.
Oh, yeah, right. So,
The question is whether or not they're athletes.
I don't know,
For
man.
some of those people that, like, I haven't watched many of the competition things, but, like, I've seen some of the highlights and stuff. They're grinding for a long time, man.
It's endurance. Absolutely.
Who's that? Esports?
Like, on some of these, like, especially some of those team games, and they have,
Yup.
dude, their brains are firing so fast. Like, I can't,
Oh, I can't
even
play it, yeah.
fathom.
They measure it. It's actions per minute.
It's just,
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I'd be still over there going like, I think my base would look kind of cool if you. And they're like, like,
So he's like, yeah, I got my first harvester out.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
No, and like that game that you and I were playing, man. I mean, have you played any more Age of Empires in the skirmish mode?
Yeah, I dismantled that thing pretty hard.
Wait, you figured it out?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. I gave up. So, which is usually what I do.
No, yeah, I
You
didn't.
didn't just Google how to, or YouTube.
Oh, I was
How to
too
solve
lazy
it.
even to do that this time. Yeah.
It's not even a lazy thing. It's like if I can't figure it out, like I will tell you, I gave up on Stellaris.
Oh, didn't you say that was like CK2 in space?
Yep.
Okay.
And there you go. So
That is my paradox, isn't it? Yeah, okay. Yeah,
Yep.
I got you.
So yeah, I gave up on that, but there was just a piece of this where I think I can see a crack here in the way that this is going. So just kind of pushed at it. I'm like, oh, this works. Okay, let me try this again. Let me try this again. Let me play as the other, civilizations. Let me see if I can do this. And yeah, so I just kind of pushed on it for a little bit, and then, unfortunately, when it came to the AI, I blew it to pieces. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it started out where I'm like, all right, well, based on this and the way you're doing this, okay, if I do this and I make you lose this part, I can outlast you. Then it's like, all right, well, you've tipped your hand to other certain, behaviors that you have, so I can now exploit this. And so, yeah, now it's like, I can win a game in like 15 minutes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess my games weren't taking that much longer. So
Yeah, but you were losing.
I was quitting. Yeah. So, or like when you play it on easy mode, yeah, eventually you're going to flip the guy.
Yeah.
So it's just like, no, I'm good. So I didn't need to reduce you down to 0 units. So I got you.
Right.
So, okay. That makes sense. Yeah. I don't know. With jobs starting back up, I haven't been gaming that much. So,
I understand.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I might look for something else.
You've openly expressed your dissatisfaction about things.
Yeah, there's been a few things. So,
Thing.
I mean, I was having a lot of fun with Doom. Maybe I'll try and go back and finish that.
Oh, I didn't know you were talking about games. I thought you were talking about school.
Oh, it's fine. I just like to bitch about it now.
Oh, okay.
So,
Right.
yeah.
That's what I thought you were talking about.
No, to be honest, though, man, it's like most of the students are back.
Ah.
So, for the first time in 2 years. Because even like last spring, I was like, fuck, I don't know if this school's going to make it, man. Because my class,
What you said,
my
yeah.
class was so goddamn empty. And then all summer, I'm sitting here watching enrollments. And it's flatline, flatline, flatline. So, eventually, I was like, fuck it, whatever. They've got me penciled in for classes this fall, so I'll be around for at least a little while. All right. And then just like within the last 3-4 weeks, enrollments just went woof way back up. So everybody
Wow.
apparently wants to come back to school now.
Because they're getting free college now.
I don't think so. So, in fact, if anything,
I wondered who would bring that
I'd
up.
be kind of pissed. Yeah.
I'm just mad because I actually paid off our school.
Yeah, I'm mad because it doesn't affect me. So,
Nope, you make too much money.
no, I don't.
No, it's 125 per person.
Oh, it's per person? Oh, I thought it was per couple.
If it was per couple, we still wouldn't make it. So, I don't qualify because my loans are all graduate loans. So,
Graduate loans count.
not from what I saw.
Yeah, graduate loans count.
I'll have to go back and read it again.
Here's the question. All
Yeah.
right. Did you take them out with basically another institution?
What do you mean?
So, like, I took out supplemental loans through Navient. Okay. So mine don't count. If they're the federal ones, like the ones that used to be, that's the question. Because if they are, they're eligible. If they're outside ones or supplemental ones,
You're fucked.
nope,
You get nothing.
nothing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Fuck, oh man, I'll have to go look, but I'm pretty sure half of ours are with Department of Ed. The other half are with like Nelnet.
so if you refinanced them into like
a
combined
private
them,
company.
then that wouldn't count
They
anymore.
don't count.
Oh, that would suck.
Wow, that's a
Well, and on top of that, they're only scraping off 10.
right. True.
Yeah, that's true too. So,
But yeah, that's the rule, and I checked that right away because I
Okay.
was like, I have like this much left.
yeah.
Okay, I knocked off pretty much everything I have, so I got a small part. But I was like, no,
I'm gonna at least
wait a
check.
minute. I was like, okay, well, that's like a little raise each month, right? I was like, well, that would be cool. And so I typed that directly in. I was like, does my loan qualify? And they say, is it with this or this? I'm like, no. So do I have to fill out a different form? It's like, no, go fuck yourself. We don't control that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that. In fact, I know that I'm going to be in the same boat.
Well, so you could.
Some of mine might be
Yeah,
through.
some might be eligible. Like,
So mine are probably through Department of Education. I guarantee you, all my wife's law school debt is through private lender. So
got it. Okay. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, like if you have any, because what were they? Sally Mae, I think, was.
it used to be Sally Mae, and then they just rolled it right into the Department of Ed. I
Yeah.
think my graduate loans, and I don't have that many of those left, might be.
Private.
No, they are with Department of Ed.
Well, then you still might get.
I might get a couple bucks.
You still might get that knocked off a little bit.
Yeah, but I know my wife's are not. So
I just don't know, Pat. What I don't understand
because
is
we refi.
Yeah, mine got combined, so I don't feel bad anymore.
well, what I don't understand is what am I misunderstanding about the government where just the president gets to make this decision?
Not supposed
I
to.
don't understand.
So I was looking into this a while ago, and I mean I didn't dive into it, do a deep dive on it today. You answered maybe one of my questions, but my other question would be, was it actually be a taxable event? So, because normally when
It's
debt,
not.
are you sure?
That's what they said.
Okay, I'm gonna wait to see the actual black and white on that one.
Reuters reported it as not taxable.
I want to see that from the fucking IRS.
If you're saying like, are you reporting this as income?
Yeah, well, yeah, because normally any kind of debt forgiveness, so like, JCPenney writes down your card for $500. That's $500 of taxable income that you have to pay taxes on. So I was worried about that, but like I said, I hadn't had a chance to do the reading. But to your previous question, so the basically the Secretary of Education, Congress has delegated a lot of authority over the administration of the student lending program to the Secretary of Education, who reports to the president. So the president can say, hey, can we do this? The Secretary of Education says, yeah, sure, which she did, or he did. I don't know who the fuck it is. So a little while ago, of course, the Republicans are like, oh, you can't fucking do that. So it's obviously going to go to court. They'll have to figure it out. But the law is actually pretty clear that they basically have whatever ability they want because they administer the actual principal on those balances. So
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and that, like,
And the colleges won't care because they've already been paid.
colleges don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
So, yeah. In fact, I mean, I was a little disappointed that most colleges aren't going to get their pee slapped over this. So, now,
Right.
like, my former, like, schools that shall go not named, all right, so are rapidly being, like, eviscerated in court. Okay, and a lot of that debt's been forgiven, and some of that will be reclaimed by the government based upon the assets of those organizations, because they'll just basically shut them down and take their shit. So, but, you know, like, no state school, I can't think of an instance in the United States where a state school, like a D1 or D2 school, has gone tango uniform. Private colleges have. A lot of
Yes.
little ones here and there.
Yeah.
Even like old, like 100-year-old liberal arts schools,
Yeah.
many of those have closed. I don't think I've ever heard of a community college closing. So
I'm sure it's happened, but
I can't tell you one off the top of my head.
just because I don't know
Yeah.
it doesn't mean it doesn't happen, right?
Yeah.
Because I can't look and say like, well, the College of Far Rockaway Beach
Yeah, right.
folded. It's
Yeah.
like I wouldn't fucking know.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't either.
Right.
Yeah.
In fact, I can't really find that place on a map.
Yeah.
I kind of know where it is.
Kind of.
Your dad would know exactly where it is.
Possibly if it's like somewhat East Coast related.
Right,
But
it's New York.
well, yeah, there's a certain band of the East Coast that he's familiar with.
Was
and
it
the rest of
Puerto Rican?
Yeah, he doesn't fucking care. So, yeah. So, but yeah, long story short, it's going to go to court. So, it'll probably be okay though. So, because that law is pretty, like,
It's a lot of money.
it is, but so like
It's $300 billion.
yeah. All right, so that's not quite a rounding error on the federal budget, but it's not far away from it, you know. So, and the thing about it is that like that's not money that's actually owed to anybody. So, you know,
I heard one guy say that this is all coming from people that probably aren't even paying their loan anyway.
no, most of it's going to be people who, like a lot of my former students who are like 5 years after graduating. Okay, they're out there fucking struggling, trying to pay this shit down. If you're successful within 10 years or so, you got to knock down anyway. All right, just on a normal payment plan.
Well, my understanding is that a lot of people that this is going to help are people that went to like 2 or 3 years of college,
Yeah,
got nothing to show for it, right?
it'll help. A lot.
Which
Yeah,
I get it. I mean, there's a part to me where shit. I think what the most compelling argument was. This was more of a wake up call to say, did you really belong in college in the first place? Do we need to rethink what it means to send people to college in the first place? Is this an automatic like?
yeah. So, yeah, and there's nothing in the bill to address that, which is really unfortunate. And, or I guess the executive order or whatever.
Certainly, yeah.
Yeah,
Or
there's no.
however this is
However the fuck you want to
a
call
police
it. Yeah.
action. I don't know. Call it what you want.
Because like, and they're still doing this in the schools. So I'm gonna tell you, like, your kid just started 6th grade, my kid just started, so they're already fucking talking about college. It's like, knock that shit off. All right. So
I don't know if you said that.
oh, my daughter got it already. So she got that speech already. And so, you know, like, and it's ridiculous. I mean, I have students who will spend $60,000 on a degree to go get a $35,000 a year job in sales. Okay, you can go to the goddamn truck driving school in between where I work and here. Okay, that takes you 12 weeks to complete and costs about $8,000.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then you can go drive for Walmart for 6 digits on day one. So
Well, God help you if you actually go to learn how to fix cars.
or something like that, or like, I mean, there's like 3 trades, all right, that my school teaches where you are instantaneously employed before you even graduate from the school. All right, one of them is construction management, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's because that field is every trade and every craft, including management, is in demand in there. All right. The other one is anything that has anything to do with healthcare. So if you got anything on healthcare, even if you go like fucking learn how to build and code, all right, you get to put on scrubs and you make more than me on your very first day.
Yes.
Okay. And then I guess the last one would be there are a whole bunch of trades out there that are dying for people. So that so like you mentioned automotive. Yeah, turning wrenches is like a 6-digit job now, man.
Dude, it's not just turning wrenches. Like the thing that this was one of the fucking like heartbreakers of. We had a so like the cohort that I went to high school with and that I was friends with, we all went to college at the same time. In fact, most of us went to the same goddamn college, right? Just for different things. So there's this constant measurement of like, okay, well, what do jobs look like for you? What is this like this, right? First off, I didn't graduate on time. I had to go back.
Yeah.
Right? The rest of us that did, okay, whether it be accounting or whether it be chemistry or things like that, just a person that shall remain unnamed, it was like, well, after he graduated in chemistry, he was laying tile afterwards because that was a better paying job, right? And the thing was, we'd sit there and compare this when a guy, a dude that was 2 years younger than us, right? I think he GED'd his way out of high school.
He didn't go in the army after that? If
No.
This is the guy that I'm thinking?
No, because he was younger than us.
Oh, sorry.
Right? He GED'd his way out of high school, if I recall, right? And got into auto body work.
Oh, yeah.
And dwarfed our salaries, like doubled it within a year.
Yeah, and I mean, that's 20 years ago. So,
yeah.
It's so much worse now. Well, I'm not going to say worse. It's better now. But the narrative, and it has been this way for almost 30 years, 40 years. It's go to college. And I mean, that dude, that's a 1980s thing, man. So that started to kick off in the 80s. You and I, all three of us here, kind of caught when it got really serious in the early 90s.
Of course.
When it was like, oh, fuck, you're going to be a loser if you don't go to college. And then,
Like, it was on Donahue every day.
Every day. And then 15 years later, it was like, if you don't go to college, we're going to send you to the fucking army. So you go fight. So, there was, it's just been absolutely baked in there. It's all based upon this mentality within primary and particularly secondary education and amongst the people who are involved in it. Because how do you get that job as a teacher? You got to be a good student. So you got to love school. And so the greatest thing in the world is school. That's why I work in one. And so what's the best thing for you? School. And then more school. And so I've seen so many people do that. So especially in my experiences, like just from my level, interacting with the K-12 folks. It's nuts.
What about their whole stat that they throw out that if you've got a college degree, you're going to make over like $1 million more in your lifetime?
Yeah, but that's over the course of your lifetime, man. So I don't think that's going to hold up over the next 10 years. So now when they pull the stats and they take a look at it and they go back, because I know how these stats are constructed and it's bullshit, okay? Because they'll go all the way back to like the 1950s when they started first tracking this shit. If you went to college in the 1950s, yeah, you made a shitload more money. Okay, than everybody else around. That's because most of you graduated at 17 and then walked right down the street to the Ford plant to start working. In the 70s and the 80s when that stuff started going away and it wasn't a thing anymore, then if you went and you could get the stupidest of business degrees, okay, out there and go work on Wall Street and make a mint. So, I don't think that's going to hold up.
Well, on top of that, I mean, so yes, don't get me wrong, like Look, we've all done our share of like entry-level jobs.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? We've all done our share of jobs that there's one layer of management above you, and that's it.
Yeah,
right?
Done a couple of those.
Right? So, I mean, I understand that if that's where you end up topping out, right? And I also understand them when they say like, all right, well, take a look at all the people that have college degrees. I'm like, all right, okay, great. Like, well, there aren't a whole ton of CEOs that didn't do some college or get a degree in something, right? So you have to take them all into accounting your average, right?
Correct.
So that's the thing is, if I'm making $12 an hour, right, with my degree, okay, but Elon Musk has 2 degrees, we have to average them together.
Yeah, that's true.
So if it's just the two of us, like if you go to college,
Yeah.
you will make
You will make $8 billion a year. Yeah.
It's like, oh shit, yeah,
yeah.
okay, well you're right.
I mean, okay, so I get your point there, but there's enough mass within the sample size to kind of
Absolutely,
tamp some of
yes,
that shit
yes.
down. But you're right, all right, and so
Enough to skew it to say you make $1 million more over a lifetime.
so there are much more interesting like breakdowns of the statistics based upon your field of study, okay, out there, and they show that there are certain fields of study. This is why we got really big on STEM for about the last 10, 15 years. And then we turned it into STEAM because art felt bad. So, and now it's not really STEM anymore. It's kind of like, all the things in school that are cool,
No, man. Okay, look, nobody gave a fuck about STEM. Okay,
Well,
nobody.
they still.
No.
Parents.
Allow me to complete the thought.
Yeah, go for it.
Nobody gave a fuck about STEM. Okay, because people knew it as something different. All right, they knew it as STEM when they found out that there were no fucking girls in it, and then everybody said it, and then they were trying to find ways. Even like you said, changing it to STEAM is a way to make it more inclusive.
So the STEM concept predates what you're talking about.
No, it does, but they didn't call it that. It was just basically like, these are degrees that pay.
No,
because you have to do math.
Yeah. So
and girls historically don't.
I understand what you're talking about, man, but it does predate that, and the term's been around since the '60s.
Yes, I know.
Okay,
all
right.
But yeah, that was the thing where it was like, look, the '80s press, okay, basically was take your son, okay, threaten them until they get into something computer sciences related, okay.
Yeah. I think that was more of a 90s thing.
It was late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
And that was when all the talk show people were like, take their favorite thing, remove it from their life, and only give it back if they agree to go into computer science.
Yeah.
Right? It was a hard push on this, right? But the STEM thing didn't really hit mainstream talking until they're like, there's no girls in this. This is because they were saying this is what's part of the wage gap.
Yeah, but that wasn't until the late 2000s, early 2010s. So the STEM concept.
I know the concept, but I'm talking about the popularity of.
I know, man, but I think you're looking at
now.
this from where we are now and seeing all the shit that we've done over the last 10 years, and you're absolutely right about that. But it does go back further. So
no argument.
Yeah, okay. All right.
But everybody knows the term now,
right?
Because of that.
Yeah. So I'm not going to disagree with you on that one. But the thing about the push for those individual things comes from those basic statistics about breakdowns in lifetime earnings in certain fields. And there's an overrepresentation of people who are in engineering, okay? People who are architects in that thing.
Yeah.
People who are doctors, all right? So you're not going to find too many drama majors in that shit. But we've known that for 30 fucking years. Okay, so, but still, the narrative is get your butt into college, all right, because you're going to make $1 million more a year. I'm going to tell you, man, my students, all right, half of them are fucked, okay? So, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. It's because they're not actually taking accounting classes, okay? I'm going to go in, I want to actually learn marketing. It's like, fuck that, go sell shit. Don't spend $60,000 on a degree here. You're going to learn how to do it better. All right, if you go out there and learn how to sell steak knives, okay? So, because you can graduate eventually to cars, and then to real estate, and then to private islands and yachts. You'll be fine. All right? So, but if you're going to actually go to college, learn a skill in my fields, okay, so you're going to do something in quantitative analysis, in which case you better really be really sharp on that shit. Or number two, go be an accountant, man. So, every last student that I've had over the last 10 years, they get hired 6 months to a year before they graduate. I keep in touch with them. 2 years later, they're well up north of 6 digits. They're the only ones. You know how many kids I have come through? It's like, oh, I want to do sports marketing. It's like, cool. What is that? Well, I want to work for a sports team someday. It's like, do you play the sport? No. It's like, this is going to be a problem. So, unless you get really good at selling shit for the, whatever, the NFL. So,
your better bet would be to go into sports medicine.
Yes, exactly, and that's it. And so then there's other people out there who are like, well, I want to be a sports manager. What do you want to be? I want to be a coach. I was like,
okay,
go on.
So
yeah. How do you think a degree is going to help you with that? So
Like a coach in the NFL.
I've had multiple students say that.
Do you have one of their last names? 'Cause that's
Oh,
where they
Right,
come
yeah,
from.
no, it's definitely a
I
good old
know,
boys club
I
now.
know.
So, but then
Have you been a water boy for the Chiefs since you were like 3 years old?
yeah,
So you know all the coaches and every other person that's been in the NFL that time? No.
yeah. But instead, I get all these students who I want to be a manager someday. It's like, good, go grab a broom. So pick a company you like and work your way up. That's the way it works. So, and they're like, well, a degree will help. I was like, maybe, eventually, yeah.
But you do that while you're working and have the company pay for that.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean you get to jump over the boss's son.
Yeah.
So-
Oh my god! That's the same thing. Like when people pursue programs in broadcast journalism.
yeah, exactly. Exact same thing, man.
Yes.
Exact same thing. Or radio.
Yep.
It's like, do you have the voice for it? Well, I don't know, sir. It's like,
Why do I
you
hire
better
that guy?
practice a little bit, brother.
I'd hire that guy and I'd put him on between midnight and 2. I'd put him on the late shift and fucking just blow everybody's mind. It's like
You gonna book in him with George Norrie?
Well, no, because the whole thing would be like, look, you have to lean into this.
Right.
Okay. You have to accept that you sound fucking weird.
Right.
You have to take phone calls.
Yeah.
Right. And you'd better start thinking. Yeah. You'd better start thinking of like weird segments that you can do. Right. That involve like you'd better be making prank phone calls like on the air. Right. If you're actually like getting on at midnight or fucking like daytime with that voice and saying we're spinning the platters that matter, right? Like you're no, it's
Traffic and weather together on the fives.
like come on, man. And especially like half that still is like, well, you know a guy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Do
exactly.
you know a guy?
Yeah, exactly. So, or you just get out there and do it, and
Hey,
I mean,
radio doesn't pay shit.
radio don't pay shit. You can intern there for free. So when I talk to the community colleges, there's tons of students that do that. Intern for free. You go and you sign up for a radio class because they actually had those there.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, you got a little traffic spot on KRDO.
Yeah.
So, or something like, God, KRDO's got this guy in the afternoon who's fucking terrible, man. So, I gotta tell you, he is the most slow-mouthed dude. So, and he does sports for him. It's like the opposite of what you'd expect. He's infuriating. It's like if you're ever just like doing something, like waiting for your kid at 4 p.m.
No.
Turn on KDR, KRDO. So I can't remember the guy's name, but he has these pregnant pauses that are just infuriating. So
Does he think he's doing NPR?
I don't know. I think he's like, one of these guys who probably called high school games for years because he was his coach's assistant or something. And then, he got his break somehow to get on like afternoon radio and just stuck around long enough where they were like, oh, well, we got the afternoon spot open. Would you like to give it a shot? And he's like, sure.
Do you know how many of those stories, like, again, I know it's not like a common thing, but I mean, it's still, because it's sort of an abnormal industry, but there's so many stories where it's like, okay, so I work there, right? It's like, I was doing this, and it just, here's the thing, is our afternoon guy had a coke problem. Everybody knew it, and so he would just not show up sometimes, and so the boss said, like, look, we need, can you do a slot here?
Yeah.
Right? And they're okay.
Yeah.
Right? And they hang out, they get their chops, right? And the biggest thing about that is momentum. It's just, are you there? Have you been there?
Yeah.
Can you say that you've done this before? Right? Whereas they're not looking at it because I don't even want to talk about terrestrial radio. It's such a fucking dumb, dying industry anyway.
Oh, I think
Right.
it's still kind of quaint. So,
It
but I
is
listen to it
quaint.
more often on my commutes. So
I know it's quaint, but it's not. Look, it had its heyday.
sure.
I would say that the late '80s to mid '90s, it had its
Yeah.
heyday, right?
Yeah.
And it's not a quick death or anything, but it slowly dropped off. And frankly, at this point, there are no real radio personalities anymore, right?
There are a few, but they're all talk based.
Yeah, that's what
so
I'm saying.
they're not like Captain Dan's anymore.
That's
So
not no, you're not fucking zookeepers.
No,
It's
I get
not,
that.
Yeah, no, but
yeah,
there's no even within the
or Keenum or what was it?
like Howard Stearns and stuff. They're even
No, what about the guy that always hosts like the top 10 of the week?
Casey Kasem.
Casey Kasem. Yeah,
Yeah, guys like that. No, Rick Dees, if you want to go all the way back and stuff like this. Yeah, it's like, no, it's not that sort of like national syndication anymore. Like, K-Rock doesn't own
yeah.
everything to the Mississippi,
No.
and then it's, I'm trying to remember the big East Coast side that's,
WNBC.
WKRP.
yeah, well, yeah, it's here.
Hey, BBL.
Actually, it's funny because now that you say that,
Yeah.
that tells me which half of the country Springfield is on.
Right.
Because it's K's on this side and then W's on
You're right. So
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
the Mississippi.
Yeah. Now, so like I think there's guys who dominate certain time spots. All right. So on national radio. So because you still have people who aren't like completely NPR's in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay. So Dave Ramsey's in the afternoon. So his show's enormous.
Yeah.
And then like in the evening you kind of
Fresh air and
yeah, but in the evening you still have Hannity on, and he's humongous still on radio.
Yeah, no, okay,
Yeah.
right. But I'm talking about radio personalities in terms of not political necessarily, but actual like
Disc jockeys.
disc jockeys that used
Yeah,
to be.
no, you don't have that anymore. You're totally right about that. So no, you don't have those guys. I mean, shit, you don't even really have like Rush Limbaughs anymore. I mean, they're out there, but there's like 10 of them, so you don't know who any of them are. So even on the political side. So I mean, I just mentioned him. You still have George Norrie at night. So
Yeah, because Art Bell passed away. Yeah.
a while ago. Yeah. So if you really want to listen about aliens, so
I do.
Well, Coast to
That's
Coast
your show,
AM
man.
was
Well-
the shit. That was
that show's still great. I'll listen to it on tonight.
Coast to
on the way on
Coast?
Coast to Coast AM. It's great.
yeah.
God, I
George
had-
Norrie is so patient with people too. So they have the craziest fucking conspiracy
I know.
theories. It is great. It's
I
almost
know.
ticklish to listen to it.
Absolutely amazing.
I listened to CNN on the way over.
Oh,
They were talking about the potential of you having a doppelganger out there that might have your same DNA. And I'm like,
CNN?
yeah. I was like, are you kidding me? This is your news story? And they found two that were living in Atlanta that were friends, and their DNA is like pretty close to a match, and they look kind of alike, but they're not related at all. They're like, see,
Are
doppelganger.
you sure?
And I'm like, this is CNN?
dude, didn't they just fire Brian Stelter? I thought they were getting
Yeah.
serious.
Yeah. They
Fuck
did.
that guy.
Oh, yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.
So,
They fired him and the whole that whole show crew gone.
Good.
Cleaned house. And evidently their move is they have finally decided that being ultra partisan is not working for them.
I think it's too late for them. So
I agree. I
Yeah.
think that the venture into CNN Plus
Oh,
was all 17 days of it.
oh man,
or
I want the
whatever.
autopsy report on that.
Oh yeah, and I'm not talking about declassified after 51 years. I'm
Right?
talking
Yeah,
about
25 plus 2.
I don't
yeah.
want to. I don't want to watch the program where fucking Jonathan Frakes is talking while they like dissect it.
Oh, that'd be great.
Because of all things, like this is not like that Theranos shit where you knew it was a fraud, right?
Oh,
this is
yeah.
like people that actually had good intentions. Misguided, but
yeah, maybe
from their mind,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
Some
I-
asshole was like, "This is what people really want."
Yeah, I don't know if you can go back and actually take a look at who's the guy who's responsible for all that shit. Was it a Mark Burnett?
At CNN,
I can't remember.
the CEO of that,
Yeah.
I don't know who runs that dumpster fire now.
No,
but,
he's not the same guy. This guy got
Yeah,
ousted like 3
he
years
got-
ago. 3 years ago. He got me too.
like he spearheaded this shit. Yeah.
yeah.
He was the one that had his name signed on a whole bunch of shit.
Correct.
Yeah.
Um,
Fuck
CNN, man. They're useless. So
right up the ass, yeah.
yeah.
With a corn cob.
No, man. Yeah, it's I don't think I've actually turned that on in years. But god damn it if it doesn't keep showing up on my newsfeed on my phone. So
yeah, because it keeps showing up on the newsfeed, not because of their news, because it's news about their network.
well, no, they're usually the actual author of the author of the article, so it's not about like CNN stock price blah blah blah. But I think what it is like, all right, so there's a million stories going on about like Mar-a-Lago or whatever. And so for some reason it kicks me CNN story rather than my subscribe feed, which is a fucking Wall Street Journal. Give me that.
Huh.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
I have to go to that separate page to find their shit. So, you know?
All right. So this goes back to Twitter, which I am serving out another 7-day stint joint.
Oh, really?
You got put in the who's scale again?
Oh, yeah.
What did you do? Who'd you piss off?
Who'd you piss off?
There wasn't even anything that buzzworthy.
There
Right?
wasn't even that much going on, man.
Okay. So remember,
Kicked off the PvP server.
yeah. Okay. Yes, I had to. I'm serving a minor 7-day penalty for fighting. All right. So I don't remember. Let me put this here. My opinions are not necessarily an endorsement of what I actually say here.
Right, you're
Okay?
just getting
Right,
riled
yeah.
up.
Okay.
You're in
Oh
trouble.
man, you did something.
Oh, man,
bad.
what did you do? Who'd you go
If you have
after?
to put the disclaimer before you say
Well,
what-
okay. So
Yeah, that's got like Surgeon General's warning.
No, because no, the thing I actually got booted for was so stupid. But the way that I said it that invited like inflammatory discussion was I referred to the 23 rainbowed stripe flag,
There's 23 of them now?
or however many, because
Oh, okay.
they put the triangle on now,
What?
right? Yeah, because you had the rainbows, 7. You had the Skittles colors at first,
And then they put M&Ms on it.
right,
Yeah.
and then they put the wedge in that
I haven't
has.
seen the wedge.
Oh well, because that's where they proudly display the pink, white, and blue, the wedge, plus brown, plus black for Black Lives Matter, and then they actually wedged in.
So it looks
Ukraine
like the
colors.
Cuban flag, or I mean, like the Puerto Rican flag now, or
Maybe. All right, but yeah, just remember it was just horizontal stripes with the
Yeah.
rainbow. Then they cut in a corner, right?
okay,
And that's where diagonally they come in with the trans colors, and then black and brown.
see, I thought
and
black
then
and brown were
Ukraine.
on the top. So no, okay, so they changed it again.
Nope, because remember it's
Got it.
Roy G. Big Red Orange. You can
see.
Yeah.
you can look up this design disaster
So
because it
what
has
is-
like 20 colors on it.
What
are a
flag
professional
is
designer.
this called?
Well, what you don't call it is the monkeypox flag.
I wonder what happens if I search.
Oh my god, yeah, okay.
And you don't tell people. You don't tell people that monkeypox spreads by putting your member where Jesus tells you not to. Okay?
Oh, okay.
And then, okay, you don't dovetail around to that where you catch people being upset. Okay? And then say, accept my tolerance or I'll kill you. Right?
Oh, you got threatened?
Okay.
No, I said that. Yes.
Okay, I got
So
it.
it
I
has
see
that
it now.
wedge on the corner. It now has like 15 colors on it, and one version of that also has Ukraine colors in it.
Yeah.
Who does not tolerate gay or transgender people?
No.
So
So we're
anyway,
gonna start putting emojis on it and shit now, huh?
so yes, I had to serve another 7 days for making fun of people's violent tendencies, yelling at me to accept their girl dick, or I'd fucking,
Or they'd kill you.
or they'd kill me. I made fun of that. They said, you're being hostile. you're threatening violence.
So you made fun of the fact that they were going to kill you.
I made fun of the fact that they jumped down my throat and were threatening me
Yeah.
by taking that to the next level of, you will accept my tolerance or I'll kill you.
Yeah.
And they said, well, that's a threat. I'm like,
Oh, wait, you said that?
I said that
No.
because that was basically being said at me.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, that's not me because I'm preaching intolerance. Read the argument.
I'm so fucking confused now, but I got you.
Do
But
you
yes.
know if they get banned too?
Yeah, they didn't get banned.
How does it let you know like that everyone got banned or like
Oh,
if
well,
it's just
okay.
you?
So, number one, if you submit, this is so stupid. I cannot believe this is part of the system because it's basically it's like a reward system where if you report somebody,
You get a pat on the head.
no,
Gold star.
what happens is you will either get a report back that says, upon further investigation, this did not violate the Twitter rules, or it will say, we actioned this account for this. It tells you when you successfully report somebody, right?
Oh,
So you get a little dopamine hit when you're like, oh, I narked on
I
somebody.
narked on that guy.
What does that do to the human brain?
Makes you want to do it more.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
see-
like you trolling.
Yeah.
more
Right.
people.
So basically you just like troll bait, which is, you provoke somebody into something, right?
Yeah.
And then tell your dorky followers to mass report this.
Yeah. God, man, I wish Call of Duty had done that back in the days when we were actually reporting Nazis.
Oh yeah, no,
That would've been
that's
great.
but yeah, so
It's like your flag is nothing but dicks. Got it. So
Right,
we're going to
right.
report you too for obscenity. You never got a feedback from that.
no.
That's too bad.
And you know
I
what?
feel robbed now.
Was there official rules against Nazi?
What?
Like to make Nazi flags?
Oh, fuck yeah.
On like Xbox Live?
Yeah.
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 Oh, yeah.
Was it?
That's in the terms of service.
Oh,
Like
okay.
it's not specifically, it doesn't say don't draw this combination of what is it, 8 lines?
Well, the first one was people using M16s with it, which is almost more offensive. So,
I kind of like it more.
so I don't know though, man. But I mean, it's one of those things where, yeah, the AI wasn't a thing back then. But if you looked at it, it's like that guy's a Nazi. So, and Jeff and I would report every last one that we saw, but we never got the dopamine hit out of it. It was just like
Wow.
the satisfaction. It was like, well, maybe we're just adding a straw to the camel's back, kind of thing.
It was
So, whereas if someone is just like, yeah, I bagged Jeff on the PvP server.
I'm going to tell you that my tag was 10 times more offensive than any swastika.
Oh, the Jolson? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was 10 times more offensive than any swastika that I've ever seen. What I never
You
saw,
never got, nothing.
I never got a dirty
Yeah.
word about it, but yet at the same time, there was a guy whose Xbox gamer tag. I always remember this from the old NeoGAF days. He wrote a complaining thread because his gamer tag was butt smasher, right? And so now I laughed at it. I was like, that's kind of funny.
That's pretty good.
But he got a little note from Xbox Live, and they said, we find this offensive. Okay. And normally you have to pay to change your gamer tag.
Yeah.
Right? But they said, all right, go ahead and choose a new gamer tag. No charge. Right? So he changed it to butt smasher with 2 R's at the end.
All right, now we're gonna charge you.
They gave him one more. And of course, 3 R's.
3 R's, yeah.
Okay. And then on the fourth offense, they changed his name to something like
Princess Bananas.
yeah, it was
That's great, yeah.
they changed it to like Faint Cult or something like that, right?
Okay.
It was just a combination of 2 words. I remember cult was the last part, right? And the dude wrote the post was like, I can't believe they did this to me. But everybody was like, dude, they gave you 3 chances,
Yeah.
right? And they permanently switched it to that thing. And what made me laugh about that was the moderator of the site took the dude's user tag
Oh, fuck.
and changed it to that,
Yeah, on the forum?
On the
yeah,
forum.
Oh, that's great.
right? But yeah, that was the whole thing. I was like, look, I like butts. You're right.
Especially with more R's. Like,
think
that's
it's even
actually
funnier.
better.
Yeah.
I think that's even funnier. And it's just love how he's like, the more R's I add, they're going to let it slide.
Right? That logic.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do the same thing. And oh my God.
So, all right, Patrick.
At least he didn't do an exclamation mark.
Yeah, see, I would have called him like Princess or something.
Right.
You know,
right.
just reverse troll him, at that point in time.
And that's
So, and if you do that as Microsoft, it's kind of like, oh no, we are going to have the last word here, dude.
especially they can
Or
be-
you can leave.
Or you can
yeah,
leave.
that's any sort of actionable offense that you do in something like that does not come with a refund.
Right, yeah.
Right. That's part of it. But yeah, that's the. I love stories like that. They're so stupid. But
Yeah.
what I'm surprised that we didn't run into more. Okay. What I'm surprised with was how many right-facing swastikas we faced. Because I always expected to see more people turn them the other way and say, well, this was actually, this is a Hindu symbol.
Oh,
that
no,
was,
it's the
before it
full-on
was,
gong, yeah.
yeah,
So,
before
yeah.
it was perverted. I don't actually mean it as a...
Anastasia. Yeah. I mean, so first of all, if you saw 10 forms of swastika out there, 9 of those were like 13-year-old boys who were
They
like
make it 8
something.
because they can't draw them right, or...
No,
okay,
they would do
yeah.
it right, but I mean the guys behind them, okay, were
Right.
like 13-year-old boys who were,
Just trying to piss people off.
well, not even that, or sometimes there are people who are like legitimately into like World War II bullshit. I mean, I can smell my own kind, so on those things.
Yeah.
Or, it was like, yeah, let me see if I can get away with this, kind of
course,
thing.
yeah.
And then for like the last one, okay, you had a guy out there who was trying to recruit.
Yeah.
He probably had one. Yeah. So, and those are the ones who was like, wow, those are really good shoestopper bolts. You put some TLC into that one, didn't you?
Well, would they have? Do you think they would have gotten you for doing the cross,
What cross?
the Iron Cross?
Oh, probably.
You think so?
Nowadays, yeah, probably.
Because that's the. Like, obviously, they never let you use swastikas in World War II games, right?
Oh, some of them do. Yeah. A lot of them do. Fuck, well, Captain Wolfenstein has a shitload of swastikas in it.
Well, okay, like in the background, yeah. But like when you played World War II games and you were the Germans, it never put up your logo as the swastika.
there are more of those than you think.
Really?
Yeah, but you get 2 different versions of the game. All right, one of them will be released in the United States. The other one will be released in Germany.
Well, yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Well, and there they'll have like green blood and they'll be robots.
Okay.
That
I didn't know about that.
I'm not shitting you.
Oh, okay. No, I hadn't heard about that.
Yeah.
But no, like, yeah. So like World War II games, like even way back in like 1992 when I was playing Panzer General, that had swastikas in it. So
That was 92.
yeah, I know.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So, and then there was a long period where no swastikas at all.
Right.
And now they're kind of back. All right. So,
Really?
yeah, there's a few games that have come out over the last, like, I don't know, 5-6 years.
And you can play as them.
You can play as the
against
Nazis.
other people.
I mean, Hearts of Iron, you can play as fucking Hitler. So,
Shit.
it's actually, and they got a picture of him and everything. And that's you if you choose these guys. So, swastikas everywhere.
Is that a Paradox?
Yeah, that's a Paradox game.
That's even the same guys that took Deus Vult out of CK.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. Maybe they just didn't get the pushback on it, or something. But yeah, Adolf Hitler is in the game. It's not like some other games that I've played over the past, like, I'd say, around 2010 or so, where you're like leader, Germany.
That's a funny thing you say. Like, all those times that I played those Civ games, right? So who do you always get? You get like Wilhelm the Great, or
Oh, it was Frederick the Great.
Frederick the Great. Who they give you 2, right? Like
Otto
Frederick.
von Bismarck.
I think you're right,
Well, Civ 1 only had 1
Yeah.
for each.
but it was not Adolf Hitler.
I have never seen Adolf Hitler in a Civ game.
That's I kept one of
I
these
have
like
seen Chairman Mao. So he was in
Right.
the very first one.
I know, so is Stalin.
Yeah.
Like number 1 and 2 on the list of most of their civilians killed. So,
But that Hitler guy.
but that Hitler guy, he's going a little too far.
Yeah, I was always surprised. I was like, I was never like, well, I want to play as Hitler. I was like, no, because I don't want to win.
No. Yeah, and even Sid Meier was smart enough to figure that one out. He's like, yeah, we probably shouldn't make Hitler as like the guy that you play in Germany. So,
But in spirit with the rest of these things here, logically,
there's no logic here, man. It's all politics.
well,
Yeah.
even back then. Then what
Enough-
the fuck was Stalin and Mao doing it?
I don't think Sid Meier actually knew that much about it. So,
How can you not know? How can you do such awesome pixel art and not know?
I don't know. In fact, I think I saw an interview where he actually got called out on the Stalin one, and he was like, it was the guy that I could think of. So,
Oh my god!
yeah, I think I actually saw that in an interview, or he mentioned it somewhere. So the release of the game did not have Stalin in it. It still had Mao in it.
Was Civ 1 a garage type game?
No, it wasn't quite
Like
that.
a limited, really small crew?
No, it was pretty decent size, but I mean, it was those two guys that were the designers, Sid Meier and Bruce Shelley, and so
Well, and they did it under the Microprose banner, and they
did. That
pretty
is just
serious
the
company
publisher,
back then, yeah.
but yeah. But when the next version of it came out, CivNet, the one that you could play on the modem, so that did not have Stalin in it, so they got rid of him.
Oh, that game!
That game.
That you were there for that, weren't you?
CivNet? I remember him being there for the rotated chair,
Yeah,
hot seat, fucking Empire Deluxe,
that too.
where Kevin took 45 goddamn minutes for every turn.
Also did that on that hot seat Civ chair.
I don't think we played that too much after that.
We played it once.
Yeah.
Because
It took like 9 hours.
because I would hit the space bar because I'm like, all right, got it. I'd be in there for 4 seconds.
Yeah.
Right. Then I'd watch Eek the Cat and the Terrible Thunder Lizards
Eat the cat. Oh my god.
before another turn would roll around. Then I'd hit the space bar because it still took another turn.
Yeah.
And then he checked every goddamn unit.
Yeah. I don't know what. I mean, I remember Empire being worse. So just taking like
Christ.
fucking days for him to do his turns.
Well, we picked on that lawyer for his turn in Axis and Allies.
Oh, Super Edition?
War. Yeah.
Didn't you go on a date halfway through that?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I did. And yeah, because that was the joke. We were like, dude, the actual war was done before your term. We're like, yeah, remember? Because we were in that text group, and eventually we were getting like, ha ha, as reply.
Oh yeah. I don't know, man. I remember Kevin being worse. I gotta be honest. I mean, I played Kevin in like, we would play like just me versus him in Axis and Allies. Okay, and it was like it was like, oh, I'm gonna go watch The Simpsons now. All right, and he'd sit there and just stare. Okay,
Oh my god.
yeah, and it was just insufferable because I mean there were a couple of years there where he was like coming over to the house like every afternoon because none of his family was ever home. So, and we played board games, but yeah, he would, and those turn-based games, man, he would sit there and look at it and look at it and look at it and think, you know, and just stare and then make a move, and then that's one of his 50 fucking dudes. So yeah. Whereas like Jeff and I all the time, whenever we played those games, it was like speed chess.
Yeah.
It was like you make a move, commit.
You live with it.
Yeah,
So
you
be
live
it.
with it. If you lose, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was the thing. Was so Civ 2. So Civ 2 solved that problem because number one, you could set the turn timer.
Oh yeah.
And I set it to like 90 seconds.
Oh
right?
Yeah.
And so, here was the thing was so when both people press the space bar, it would then advance.
Yeah, it would flick the little things.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you weren't done in like 45 seconds, the mocking messages just started
Yeah.
happening. right?
I remember playing a couple games with you.
Yeah, because you were at like second 55, and I'm like,
Tra la la.
I was like, what are you doing? Writing the intro to War and Peace?
Yeah, exactly. You end in the game files? Yeah.
Because I remember getting like begged when I would play with other groups. They're like, could you please turn this up to like 2 minutes?
Yeah, Empire did not have a turn timer. I recall.
I think that was supposed to be like enforced by like threats of violence.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
It's
It's like, we're going to pop this
Speed
door
up.
open and come take a look at all your shit.
yeah, speed
Yeah.
up or leave.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I can't think of. The problem with Civ is I do love the game, but when it comes down to it, it's not a full-blown like military strategy game. It's so many different aspects. So to sit there and think about like this hex or this hex
Yeah.
for that long, the problem with that is it implies that your opponent is thinking about this as hard as you are.
Right. Yeah, it's not Risk. So,
Right.
you know, and like Civ.
Risk. Am I adjacent to something?
Yeah, exactly.
Will I attack it or not?
Yeah, exactly.
Risk is not exactly.
No, I get that, but the point that I'm trying to make is that Risk it's a war. Okay, you're gonna
yes,
fight.
yeah,
That's all
okay,
you're doing.
right,
all you're doing is
right,
fighting.
right.
And so fight. Everybody fight. All right. So whereas in Civ, it's like if you start a war, you usually know like really quick whether or not you're gonna win it. You know.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
yeah.
all the years that I played Civ, I can only remember having like a couple times where the whole world descended into like fucking World War One. You know, it only happened a couple times. So, you know, most of the time, if I was like, I'm going to Ukraine this bitch. I was ready.
We're just burping that now. Is that...
Yeah. So I don't know, man. But you knew that you were gonna like either win right off the bat, or if you got bushwhacked by the Romans like the very first year, you were like, oh shit, I'm gonna lose. Yeah.
Yeah, I had this weird thought. I think it was this morning. It may have been yesterday morning. I was thinking of the Statue of Liberty, and
End of.
you know, well, it's because I was playing that Age of Empires game,
Oh, okay.
right? And I was just thinking because it had the English and the French in it, and there was I can't remember, but there was something that came up where it was like how the French came to our support, right? And I was just thinking about it. It was like everything that I've thought of, everything that I've heard is that there's part of it where they're like, oh, let's help these guys out, but it was more so that well, will this mess with the English?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right? I was just thinking about that, like, I was like trying to go back to the 80s, and I'm like, would we ever gift Afghanistan like a statue because we were helping them fight the Soviets?
We gifted them a whole bunch of Humvees with bullet
Yeah, we
holes in them.
did, and it kind of blew up in our faces
I guess.
with the
So-
Mujahideen and all that other stuff. But
Oh, you mean back in the 80s?
yeah,
Oh yeah.
that's what I was thinking. I was like, would we ever give like a big statue?
Like Michael Jordan.
Yeah. So
I was just thinking about it, like, that's so weird. Why would it work then? But it just because the whole reason we were doing it wasn't because we supported the Afghani people. We could give a fuck about it. I was like, were you fighting? It's like, well, we can't fight the
Yeah.
Soviets directly. That's a problem.
Oh, you mean back then? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's I don't know, the invasion of Afghanistan. So like, you know, the country always has like this thing where we always pick sides right away before we actually think about it.
Yeah, we're doing that right now.
Yeah, we're doing it right now, and it's probably going to lead to fucking nuclear Armageddon, but whatever. So
I've heard arguments
With
that it's the
Ukraine?
biggest
yeah.
Oh.
money laundering scheme on the planet right now.
I've seen so much out there that I don't think anything there's a segment of the left that is completely flipped on this and is attacking the next left, which is trying to defend itself from the right or the center who just doesn't give a fuck at the moment.
Right.
You know, so it is so weird. I mean, there are like probably 10 or 15 people who fit on a spectrum who I kind of keep tabs on. All right. So these journalists, these analysts, these people that, are pretty, some of them are more level headed than the others, and some of them I follow deliberately because they're really fruitcake out there kind of guys.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So like Jimmy Dore, he falls in that category.
Sure.
All right. And you cannot get a straight goddamn story anymore out of any of it. It's impossible. So like everything that just it's a constant circle jerk. Okay, it's like who's actually in charge around here?
Right.
I don't know. You got to point at him, and I'll point back at me,
right,
or something. Yeah. It works like this. Yeah,
we're all pointing.
Right. Yeah, everybody did both pointers.
I believe they call that a Mexican standoff.
It is a Mexican standoff, and so like in the news, you can't get it's just like the Mar-a-Lago thing now. So which fucking disappeared off my news feed immediately after a week.
You're correct.
Yeah.
Whereas
is it the local news? No. It's gone. So, and so like it's like, all right, so what's the story? Now you gotta wait for it. And the same thing's true with like I mean eventually that whole affidavit thing, they're just gonna come out. So they're gonna find it.
Heavily redacted, but yes.
I don't know about that, man. Even if the initial one gets released as heavily redacted, I'd be shocked if the actual full the full Monty won't come out within a month or two. So
they already leaked parts here and there, and all that.
It's already started, man.
We can
So
start kind of gluing
and
it
fucking
together.
Trump Nation is the leakiest ship in the world. So it will come out if he's got a copy of it somewhere. So but then there's like other things like all the stuff with Ukraine about who's actually supplying who, where the arms are actually going, where they're winding up, what's going on the fuck on in Russia with this bombing the other day. So, which was immediately, they were like, oh, we solved it in like fucking 9 hours. And it was this chick who bolted to Estonia, which might happen to be a member of NATO. So they're already teeing up the next one.
Yeah.
So they're already teeing up the next one, and that's going to be a fight with NATO, and it's going to fucking suck. So,
Yeah.
So, yeah, the news is all bad on that front, man. I'm not happy about it at all. So
I don't think you're supposed to be. I mean, yeah, because the last thing, this is where they're like, they keep approving money to Ukraine, and then it's like, so who's getting this?
Yeah.
And that's like,
well, it's Raytheon and fucking, Lockheed Martin,
This was the shit they were saying was like,
but that's normal.
well, like, less money is getting to Ukraine than like fucking the Susan G. Komen Foundation when it comes to raising money for cancer, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, who's getting rich off of this, and why do you keep approving it? And they're like, well, this snake eats its own tail.
Kind of. I mean, I'd be curious to see like, all right, so are these going to defense contractors to like set up the TOW missile factory again? Because apparently that's been shut down since the fucking Iraq war was over.
Yeah.
And so they're like, oh, we got to make more of these. And so absolutely that money's staying here in the United States, but the missiles are still going over there. I don't fucking know.
I don't know.
So yeah, I don't know either.
Did you see the video of how goddamn drunk Nancy Pelosi's husband was?
No, is it out there? Oh my god, I want to see
He
that.
couldn't even do a field sobriety test without putting his hand on the car.
The cop is like,
Oh my
don't you
God,
understand
yeah.
the point of not putting your hands on the car to do the test?
So when I actually went back and read that shit because I remember it came up on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, talking about the judge and stuff.
Yeah.
The judge is actually above board. So she's been around for a long time. All right. So all the things out there that are saying she'd never tried a case, none of that was true. Okay. She'd been around for a long time and stuff like that. And as soon as they started seeing that, and as soon as the Policemen's Association called him out on that, that motherfucker's going to jail. So
No, he's not.
has he already pled out?
He already put out.
Okay.
No
So
jail.
no zero jail, not even the mandatory 9 days?
Nope. Just
Why not?
probation.
I
What
thought
do
that
you
was
mean, why not?
well, that was part of the law. So did they drop the charges down to a different one?
He pled to DUI. Yeah, he pled out. There is no jail time. It is just probation.
So how'd they get around the statutory limit?
Because it is not mandatory.
Oh, it isn't.
It is almost mandatory,
But it's not.
but it's not.
Oh, so yeah, I thought it was. So
It's kind of like supposed to be, but there's like this back end where it's like, but it wouldn't have to be.
No, damn it! I wanted him to go to jail for 9 days.
I feel go to jail for 6 years, man.
Like,
Like,
I'm not gonna go to jail for 6
no,
years
fuck
for a
that.
DUI.
Like, no, of course not. But yeah, that's
I mean, you got to bowl over a couple kids in order to go to jail.
no. As a matter of fact, the most
I know people, and you know people who've been on their 3rd DUI and haven't spent a day in jail. So.
dude, the shittiest thing that I read about that family.
Third?
Yeah,
Who?
wasn't your buddy he didn't go to jail, right?
Eric?
And he was on 3rd.
No, he's only on 2.
Oh, never mind. All right, sorry, Eric. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
No, the shittiest thing I read about that fucking family is so people get in an uproar, and this bitch is
Which family?
The Pelosi family
Okay.
about the Taiwan trip, right?
Yeah.
Pissing off all the right people. Why did she go? Do you know who she went to visit?
Well, I've heard a couple different things. So one of them was like she wanted to drag her son along or something to introduce him to some dudes.
Do you know who he was
No,
introduced to?
no.
Okay. They didn't make this public, but she visited the fucking semiconductor and the chip people.
Oh yeah, that I did hear that.
And then
I did hear that.
afterwards, with the bill that they're passing,
Yeah.
yes, invested a shit ton of money in this, in something that they're actually passing a bill on.
Yeah. No, it's crooked as shit, but at least the stuff's coming back to the United States. So, but I saw that, and I also think that, like,
Fuck.
she ain't gonna last much longer, man. So,
She shouldn't be lasting now.
I get that, man, but, you know, like, what are we gonna do about it? So,
Me and you?
yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, just bitch about it.
No.
Yeah, we're good at that. So,
Yeah, well, that's just what we do.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Like, I think that the Taiwan trip. Yeah, you're right. Pissing off all the right people is a good way to put it. And it certainly did that to the point in time where they're punching themselves.
That's what I'm saying.
So it's crazy, man. So, but the other thing is like, I think Biden actually kind of forced her into it. Because Anthony Blinken, who I'm no fan of, but who's not a retard, or at least not a complete retard. And the State Department came out earlier and were like, well, we don't think you should go. Well, like, okay, well, okay, you're the president, so I'm not going to go? No, of course the fucking Speaker of the House is not going to do that.
Right.
So, yeah, so he kind of forced her hand, and I don't know, man. They might be clever enough to actually, like, it's like, well, if we do this on purpose, then it'll look like she has to go, and so...
Yeah, but there's another
Yeah.
answer of like, you could say okay.
You could take yes for an answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know if they're capable of that.
I mean, like the whole thing today where like you go back just a little bit where, you know, the college loan things, her previous quote, I don't think the president can do that.
Yeah, right.
And then today, this is the best thing that's happened to this country forever.
Oh, God.
I was like, okay, what was...
Dude, if you're telling me that she's a wind vane, that's something we've fucking known for 20 years.
Yeah,
So, come on, bro.
People have been...
You can't yell at the thing for doing what it's designed to do.
No, I was laughing at that. I ended up like posting something about that because they're using that little picture of her like bowing to black people,
Man.
thing again, and I was just like, I just think it's funny because like, whenever I see it, like I like make a comment, I'm like, no, she's not doing that. She's just charging down for 2 seconds so that she can flash kick.
All right, that's pretty good.
But the other big thing, the highlight reel that people have been composing clips of was with the unceremonious announcement of Dr. Fauci's departure.
I've seen that montage. I've seen a couple of those.
I don't know what to tell you. It's like, I never said that. I'm like, you want?
Yeah, I know.
You want to?
Man, those have been on the internet for 6 months now.
I know,
So, yeah.
but they have resurfaced.
Of course they have. So, because of course he's not quote retiring, according to him. So, I was like, so you're going to stop working voluntarily when you got older? Cool. I'd like to not retire. All right, man. We're at $1.35.
All right.
So you're getting a little ranty there. You got a last thing to say? One last thing to throw out?
What is a rant?
Yeah, well, a short one.
So
A jab on the Twitter PvP.
the problem is this won't come across as like a short rant because my current beef right now is about the war between transgender people in Kiwi farms that ended with
I don't know anything about this.
Marjorie Taylor Greene getting swatted.
Oh, she actually got swatted?
Yes,
Wow.
and it's the
She didn't shoot back?
well. Here's the problem.
Oh, no, wait, that's ours. That's ours, not theirs.
It's the falsest of false flags because okay, listen to this. All right. The person that called in the SWAT with like the Microsoft Sam computer voice. It gets better. Said that she'd like shot 5 people in her bathtub. Right, because that's how you do SWATs. That's how you say that there's a situation and then the SWAT team comes in. You hope they kick the door down and blow somebody away, right? So the SWAT team shows up. Then the anonymous SWAT caller calls back with the Microsoft Sam voice and says, I did this on behalf of Kiwi Farms. Because that's what actual SWATers do.
Yeah.
They call back to say, I did this on behalf of this group.
Yeah.
And MJT, or MGT,
MJD.
yeah, because I don't want to call her Magic the Gathering, but that's her. Yeah, it's the same letters, but it's not. Yeah, Green Taylor, yeah, is. She then today said, we need to take the Kiwi Farm site down because she is that dumb.
Yeah. I don't get the joke.
I'm
So
totally missing it.
Yeah.
What, the joke? It's not
what
a
is
joke.
Kiwi Farms?
Oh, that's...
Do they grow kiwis?
what I
No,
was
that's
assuming.
just the site. That's just the site where...
Yeah. Jeff's
No,
up to on the internet stuff.
It's not a joke site. It's just that's the name of the site where
What do they
it's
do?
log people's stupidity.
Oh, okay. So it has nothing to do with kiwis.
Nope. No.
Cool. Thanks, internet.
But yeah, she called for basically to. You can look at her. She's just like they need to this site needs to go.
Mhm.
Right. It's like, do you really think that advocates of the site called this in twice in a fake voice and said, I am this person from Kiwi Farms, and I did this on behalf of trans rights?
I don't know.
I know.
So that's what you're saying. Is it going to be a small rant? No.
Yeah.
Because this is just one of the stupidest things I have ever seen in my life. And just the insanity of like, what do we... You were picking on it the other day, that phrase I was using, vote blue no matter who.
Yeah.
That attitude of like, any tactics are good as long as you're on the right side.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where that rant's going.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it would make you that angry.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll talk about it.
I mean, I'll give them one thing on this one. They did pick a good target there who probably would fuck it up. So, you know.
Again, I didn't want to make this long. I could explain the whole
Yeah.
details, but it's not.
Let's give it 2 days. So, will it still be a thing in 2 days?
It depends on who you ask.
Do you think it'll be a thing in 2 days?
On the farms, yes.
Okay. All right.
I don't think it'll be a thing today.
I didn't see it today either. So, but
Yeah,
maybe it'll blow up
just
and it'll
like-
be there
yeah,
in 2
just-
days. You
just
never
like-
know.
No, this is my rant.
That's true. It is.
You asked me
I did ask you. Next time I'll ask you for a...
Peaceful.
like a meaningful rant. Okay.
No, a zinger. I want a zinger.
zinger.
There we go.
Okay. Well, if you just, I'm going to tell you something cool.
Okay.
I got a new fence.
I saw your new fence. That's
Nice.
cool.
Got a
Yeah.
new fence.
Yeah.
It has a gate in it.
It was a shorter amount of fence than I thought, and so the price you quoted actually makes a little bit more sense to me now. So
Oh
I thought they were going to do the whole both sides.
no,
So,
I
no.
couldn't argue that the car damaged the structural integrity of like the side of the house.
Give it a shaky, man.
See?
Is it
Broken.
It's broken. Yeah. All right. Not advocating insurance fraud.
Yeah.
So all right. I'm Pat.
I'm Will.
I'm Jeffrey.
Hitting the button.
All right.